Hello and welcome to Dell's Gaming. I'm Dell and this is From the Depths Designer. And in this episode we're going to be looking at a little rework of one of the bombers, the Albatross, which is having a bit of a fly around just nearby. And we're just going to do a rebuild on that because it needs a bit of work, and I think we can make a better version. I'm not going to do this as a direct upgrade. We're actually going to build a new ship or new aircraft, but based upon some of the attributes of the Albatross and just make it a little bit better. So this will be a new Super Albatross, allowing for the fact of the new enemies we're coming across, which have lasers, are much more powerful weapons. Now, first of all, let's go and have a look at the Albatross. We'll just get on board. Right, that didn't put me on board. We will try and do that again. There we go. So, the Albatross. It's, as I think I said before, it's a fairly early build. Its primary was it's using this what I call a ray design, which is a long flat sort of design. It was supposed to imitate sort of rays. Uses a lot of wood, again intentional. Made it a little bit cheaper to build and resistant, and it was mainly on the top. Underneath and in the center we had a lot of metal just to make it fairly resilient, but the wings etc would repair fairly quickly, which was a big bonus. Armament wise, let's see, we had these couple of armored missile launchers firing forward, and their intention was to basically hit a target at slightly longer range, and then these missiles out the top, all these rockets. So we would had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's how many rows is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 36 roughly missiles being fired out the top. Now they were, I think, guided. Let me have a quick check on one of them. Yep. So they were 4 block, thruster, fin, fuel tanks, APN. The APN was used because these were ejected up, and they just used the APN to guide it towards the target, which is still a perfectly good and valid method. It's actually got speeded up. I think a later patch actually has made this a little quicker. It did have also a couple of large missiles. There's a bit of sting in the tail type of situation. This was a couple of ones which would fire from behind at a target as it was going across them, just to do quite a heavy damaging missile as a secondary blast after the first ones had wreaked some damage. I think I said the design of some of it is okay, some of it's just not okay. So we can certainly improve on this, but we're going to follow some of the basic design tenets of this. Missile, lots of bombs, and we'll keep the flat design potentially. At this moment, we'll go with that and we'll see what we can build. Inside was, we had a bit of space. You can see all the ammo racks here. There's a lot of ejectors, so the ejectors do take up the space. That's why we've got this sort of interlaced pattern here. We might follow that again or go to a slightly more straight design. We'll have a look. So what we'll do is we'll take this out of play. Whoops, that's the wrong place. Take the Albatross out of play and we'll go back to the starter raft. There we go. So we'll start a new vehicle. Oh, there was a couple of things I wanted to check before we do that. I just forgot. We were going to look how many blocks it was, and what sort of stats it had. So if I just bring that up there, let's see. So it's about a 4,000 block fighter. So that's quite large. We're trying to keep within that sort of 4,000 block range. The RP, we're not too worried about RP. 350,000, because the game is more about blocks at the moment, so block wise is more important to ensure we can bring it in. We don't want this too big. we're still aiming for 4,000, but we're metal wise it was 83k. I don't mind if it goes above that and it has a bit more metal, maybe some alloy in this one instead of so much wood. Some metal for armor and alloy in other areas. So we'll use more let's use the same blocks, but some slightly more expensive blocks in theory. Okay, let's come out of here, and then we will take it out of play again, take myself back to the craft. Okay, so yeah, that gives us a sort of rough idea of what we're going to be doing. So let's go into build mode, and the first thing we are going to do is place the magic block. We're going to go over, put myself in that mode, there we go, keyboard mode, go over this way a bit. It's going to be quite a large vessel, I'm expecting. So let's think. Now we're going to have a simple central part to this. So we're going to start with, yeah, I think we'll just start with a basic core. And I'm going to make this a little longer, I think, than the first one, and have it slightly more shaped. The existing Albatross is a little square for my. We'll try to make this a little bit more, maybe make it a slightly more diamondy shape. So we'll go for about that width, length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11. Yeah, that sounds about right. We're going to make it quite wide in the main body, because it's got to have a lot of missiles. That's yeah, it's got a lot of missiles in this, so we're going to follow the same path. Now I'm thinking we need to get a lot of missiles, just shed loads. So what we're going to do as far as building goes is we're going to start with the missile system. Now let's just have a think of layout and where we want the weight, because we've got to put in obviously the missile system itself. We've also got to fit in an engine in here and some defences. Now I'm actually thinking of putting the engine roughly in the centre again, as I did on the existing Albatross, to put the weight in this sort of area, to give a good weight transfer. I wouldn't say weight transfer is mostly the wrong word, but to put the weight more in the centre. So I'm just going to roughly put something out here. Let's say there, with a load of cranks, and we'll sort out the actual engine later. About like that, I think will be where the engine goes. We'll actually build it later, and then what we'll do is, let's just make sure am I actually in the right, I haven't gone the wrong way around. Actually the front's not the front, that's the front. Numpty. Ours a complete numpty. That's what ours is. Let's just build this the correct way round, shall we? It's always much better to build this the correct way round. So let's start that again. So just there, that's going to be the starting point. Now that I'm actually facing the correct way, yeah, just put one cylinder on top just to make sure I've got it the right way round. Yep, okay, that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd gone up to 9, so it's a little bit further forward. That's fine. We'll go there. Now we might put. I've got a plan. I have an idea, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Yes, I think I've got a plan for the forward-firing missiles. We'll work on those later. I've got a neat idea, right? Something we'll see if it works. We'll worry about the bomb bays first. So what we would do is we're going to need a little bit of a break here. This is as much as anything just to like a fire break. We'll mark that down there. Maybe one more back from that. allow for some bits on the back of the engine. So one back from there. That's basically in case it get damage in here, it doesn't, this fire effectively doesn't spread and blow everything up from the inside, because that would normally be bad. Right, missile system. So our basic missile is gonna be, right, now we could start it, let's think. Let's do a central one first of all. We can just do it like this. We can do this a little simpler, so it's a slightly wider. This is going to be fairly big. Yes, yeah, this is going to be fairly big. So let's see how big we have done here. We'll leave one at the front there for our control block. Then we need to put a launch pad. And we've done it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're already at 32. And then what we'll do is a ejector add-on. So that it ejects this out. Now previously we'd staggered these, so this time I'm just going to do it without the stagger. These are on top of the vessel, so yeah, we should be okay. No one's going to be, he says, no one's going to be blasting us from on top. Surely not. No, blasting us from on top. No, that just would not be cricket. That would not be cricket. Right, so we can make this. We can either create another row. So that would go out to here with the ejector, etc., like that, or do this slightly differently. So we've got two sizes of missiles, which I'm suddenly liking the idea of, in the same launcher. And we'll take this one and put it in here. So we'll have like a 4-block missile and some 3 blocks, or 2 and a 3 or something like that. We'll see how much space this takes up, and then because we're offset, we can put the ejectors in here, and we'll have 2 types. So one, I'm thinking one could say be laser guided and the other one infrared, and just a couple of other little minor differences, but otherwise just slightly different heights. That could work. And we could, well, yes, we could even put the other one here as well. I mean, if we're going to do missiles, we might as well go totally over the top. There is no such thing as overkill. It is a fallacy. It is, you know, overkill is a valid tactic. I'm liking this. This is quite good. Yes, yes, yes. We will have this blowing shit up with great glee and happiness. It will basically, yes, blow the crap out of everything. Why not? So if we get some missile blocks and just start putting some of these on here. Right, so that's 1, 2, 3. So I could do a 3. If we do these as bombs rather than missiles, yeah, I has another idea. How about if we do these as bombs or missiles? We could do the larger ones have a small thruster inside them. Just to give them a little bit of oomph, and these ones though could just be standard bombs, so no thruster, just an APN and a fin, just to guide them onto the target. So the extra block in, they're almost identical, except the other one has basically a rocket and 1 fuel. That's only 3. Okay, that's because I haven't put them all. I've only done 3. Okay. Do you think this is too many missiles? You know, it's no. What am I talking about? Too many missiles? Don't be silly. And I haven't even finished yet. Right, what we will do is we'll just see if we need to go any higher. Can we make a valid missile with 3? So if I just make a, just put another one here for the moment. We'll sort out the laser system later, because I'm going to do it using a My Team missile, so we don't actually need any lasers attached to this as an example. Right, and I'll go through that. Right, so if we say put a missile controller, doesn't really matter, we'll just put it like that. There we go. This should all load. There we go. And if we make the 2s, give them a, let's see, a fin, an APN, and they need an infrared. Where are we? Infrared. And then we say give them a... We'll start with explosive, but I might sort of mix some of them, some explosive, some infrared. But explosive we'll just do for testing. So that's all those, and they would be all sort of just fired out and guide themselves down automatically. We might need to... Warhead timing delay, yeah, that needs to be a good 6 seconds. And the guidance delay, I want to have 2 seconds as well. So it goes up and then gets guided. That would be good. And these ones, similar. Let's see, 1 fin, 1 fuel tank. The APN, no, actually, yeah, what we can do is we can do some APN like that, but we could also then do some, let's say, the center row. Here, instead of having infrared, you can have a laser designator. Doesn't need the APN, and could, say, have a little bit more oomph, just for giggles. Again, we'll have a 2-second delay, warhead delay of, say, 5 seconds. Yeah, so we'll just do like that. Oh, okay, there's one thing, and here on the laser designator, we're going to aim at our team's lasers. So they're all, if we've got some sort of designator, and I'm thinking the flying rays that we've got flying around, that when we upgrade those, they could be designators for the Albatross. So when they're flying around, they're constantly designating the target in case it gets, you know, it's out of range or something else like that, or etc. For these missiles, that could be good. So now we have. That's a start. We better just do a few other bits and pieces. We need to have in here an identify friend or foe, and we will need a staggered fire. We'll leave it at 0.1. I think we've got so many missiles that 0.1 should be adequate, because we had 16, didn't we? That's 32, 64, 96 missiles. Could we do with some more? Have we got enough? I don't know. That's quite a few missiles. What I am thinking. What am I? And am I even thinking? Is thought even required here? Is there a case? There is a case for more missiles. I have thought of a way of doing more, because more is good. I've got to get this right, actually. Let me just have a think about this. Yes, I'm thinking maybe more missiles out the side, ejecting this way from each side. So left and right, ejecting out there. I think that would be that's valid. Yeah, I think so. More missiles, more bombs. We might make these just the two, just normal bombs, just a 2-block which I think is those slave things. So we'll need 3 blocks out and an ejector. So we could either, let's see, we do need an ejector, I think, just to shoot them out the side so they fire. Because I quite like that, you know, when you've seen it with the Condor, etc. As they're going across, it's firing out the side. I quite like that design. So if we could put it there, we could put there, and the underneath, because why not? And we could actually double this up as well. Not that I'm obviously, you know, putting too many here, because that, you know, of course, well, we'll put this upside down. Just use, it'll be quicker to do that. There we go. See, I do use keyboard on occasion, just not all the time. And missile blocks, and there we go. That looks good. Right, go back to here, and now what we can do is we need ejectors facing up. I have realised one thing. If this was to get hit in any way, this whole flipping lot is going to just go sky high. Still, in for a penny, in for a pound. And I like it. Well, and since I've gone this far, I might as well go the whole hog, mightn't I? You know, let's not beat around the bush here. Whoops, that's the wrong way around. I mean, if you're gonna go overkill, we might as well go for it in a big way. You know. This ship might end up bigger than I expected. I think I'm already going to be over the estimated amount that I'd originally thought of. I think this is going to be a bit bigger. Who cares? I'm suddenly having thoughts of I like this. Yes. This is going to be my definitely a Super Albatross. Right, let's see now. Is that connected? Yes, that is connected. Let's make sure all of these missiles will do assign to all, and this one will do assign to all. So that's all through there. Excellent. Well, now we'll need to extend this out a little bit. So I'll get a little wider, just to cover the missiles, protect them a little bit. Okay, that's cool. Yes, okay, and I haven't finished yet as well. So this, yeah, yes, I like it. I'm surprised at even my own sort of level. Let's see how big this is going to have to be here. So we can put one, basically, if we say like that, that's cool. This will be the fire break, for want of a better word. And we'll need the same at the rear. We'll have to find somewhere for a whole load of ammo barrels, but I'm thinking this is like gonna be one of those, it does one pass, blows the crap out of everything, and then takes a long run to reload. Right, we'll put one level of armoring here, although it might need a few more blocks later on, and one just there like that. There we go. And we'll put one up the top as well. We could put some ammo barrels up here, because the top of this is the very few things that are going to go on the top. Most of the damage we're going to take is going to be on the front as it's coming in, and underneath here. That's where most things are going to be damaging the ship. Let's just have a quick check. So we're already 1,000 blocks, and that's just for the one missile system. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes, the world will be mine. Aha. Right, we'll armour the top just with wood. No, maybe some alloy. We'll put some alloy up here, some shapes, just to armour this up a little bit. More than it is now. Obviously, forgotten one thing I need to put here. Let's put a AI controller, or local weapon controller. Let's get it the right way up. There we go. Doesn't matter too much which way up it is. We'll put it there, and then we will put a controller. We don't need a failsafe. I'm going to have to go with the fact that these won't get damaged. Yes, I know that's possibly not necessarily a safe bet, but I'm still going to go with it anyway. Right, okay. I can always put a move these around and put a failsafe in there later. Move the FOF. Actually, I might do that now, just to give myself a bit of room. So if I put the weapons controller here, and then put the wireless receiver just the other side, and then I can put the friend or foe, point it downwards, there we go, just there, and the staggered fire, whoops, just there. That's done. I can fill the rest in with bits of wood and some other little bits and pieces, just to keep it all happy, you know, keep it a little bit of protection in there. Okay, so next stage. So we've got a little bit of height, how high this is going to be. I will angle the front a little bit like I did with the other Albatross, just to give it a bit of a point and some spiky nose and bits and pieces like that. This other missile system I had a hankering for. So this other missile system, we'll follow this through, I think. Let's just think, how much space do we need? I've got to allow for wings yet, obviously. We just followed this basic shape through. I might reshape it a little bit, but it gives me an idea of how much space I have. Right, let's say I want to build some a 6-block missile system. So that's 6 plus the 6-way plus the controller, so it's going to be 8 plus a little block. Yeah, it's going to be about 8 blocks. So I don't want it right near the front, so the base of it is going to have to be, that's there, where's this? Just there, just behind this motor here, because I has a plan, or does has a plan. Now what I'm thinking of is a pop-up missile system, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with, so we on this we can get a fair few on this. We'll just have it, we'll have it here, and we're going to new object, a spin block, a precision spin block, facing downwards. There we go. Dum da dum. Nice, like it. It's going to be a little vulnerable because it's right near the top here, which is not good. So I'm not even gonna try and make it overly defended. It's gonna be vulnerable, so let's just go with it. Let's not try and armor it. So we're just going to make the actual core all of missile blocks. That way it can just repair quickly, and you know, if it takes damage, it takes damages. Its defenses will be the fact that it will be hidden down here when there is nothing in range. So that's going to be its pure defensive system. Now we will need, let's think, we'll put the missile controller, let's think, how am I going to put this in? This row will be at the bottom, so these are them, these will, these ones will all be the main launch pads. So when it comes, I've got to make sure I get this right around, like, so when it comes out, they will be facing top. Yep, that looks good. Not going to use any ejectors, because I'm just going to have these fire straight up. So that's going to give us those, and then that one there, one there. I will work out what other blocks we might need for control. Actually, I can put some of the controls on the back. Okay, so if I put the missile blocks on here now. So I said it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. I said 6 blocks, didn't I? Yeah, we'll start at 6. I think 6 will be enough. Now these will be multi-function missiles. They're going to go for lots of different targets. By that I mean they will have the ability to go for aerial targets within reason, underwater targets because they'll have a propeller and a ballast, so they're going to be quite let's think. Yeah, I'm going to make these sort of go for anything type of situation. The main bombs are going to be for any surface vessel, but these will be our all aspect missiles. Right, now I'm going to, that's there, I'm going to put the missile controller here. Missile control. There we go, that's the missile controller. And what we're going to do is, because up here we've got some room, I'm going to put my identify friend or foe there, and the staggered fire just here as well. Go on, get in there, get in there. Thank you. Right, now we're going to go back to the hull, because now what we'll do is we'll put the controls in here. Control, automated control block. I might as well just mirror this so that it's ready for the other side. Now we're going to need 2 control blocks. We're going to put one, nice and simply, one at the top and one just underneath the spin block. There we go. And we'll do this manually at the moment. So this one will basically spin block, affected range 2, so it doesn't need to go anywhere else, no delay, rotate to 90 degrees. So that will pop up. There we go. Fire its missiles, except for these ones at the bottom haven't popped up. They will blow the crap out of ourselves. Okay, so we won't be. So I can't use the bottom set. Arse. I could leave a gap. No. Okay. I'll take off the bottom set. I could extend this out so it's over this way. Yes. I have a better. I'm going to just quickly redo this. I have a better idea. It's only a matter of extending this out so that they stick out a little bit further, and it might allow us to actually hop it over this way a little bit further and extend those blocks out a little further. So yeah, let me just sort that out and I'll be back in a second. And welcome back, and hopefully you can now see the sort of stowed position and the ready for launch position. I'm hoping this one here won't catch on the vessel and will launch okay out the front. I might just dip down this front little bit or give it a bit of range. I think it will be okay. We'll see when it comes to actually when we put it into action. If we look at it from there, I think that would be okay. So that's going to be there. So it's not very well protected on the top at the moment. I could actually put a little bit of protection on there. It shouldn't affect it, but as you can see, it's starting to clip a little bit, which is one reason why I can't have two of the missiles here. They would definitely blow the ship up, but the other ones I think will be okay. So that will be what we'll do is we set these control blocks. I haven't obviously set them because I need some testing, but what they'll be set to is when a ship is outside of a particular range, using if enemy range is larger than or they don't exist. So this one here, if it's larger than a certain value, it'll close down, as you can see is happening here. And we'll set that out somewhere depending on what the range of the system is. We'll say like 500. 500? Yeah, 500. So if they're further than say 500 away, it might actually be a little bit bigger than that, but we'll say 800, it closes down. And then the other block will be the opposite. So if the enemy range is less than 800, then open back up again, and that will be the firing range. Now we do have to give a little bit of a delay, so you know, if it's not going to suddenly shoot it itself if the delay is slightly wrong. So that should work, hopefully, maybe, possibly. It's got a good chance of working, maybe. Right, well, one thing I need to test is protection inside. If I put this block here, will that stop it turning? Yes, it has. You can see it's trying to turn. So if I put one away, and whoops, take that one out, that works okay. So if it's okay if it's one away, what else did I just thing? I hate when I click something and I heard it delete something, but I can't see what it deleted. Oh well, find out later. So that's the limit that we can do here to give that a bit of protection, like I did elsewhere. We can go back just at that point. That's okay. And then maybe here we just go like that. That gives it a bit of protection at least, to allow it to go in and out as such. We can always, if it comes to it, maybe I'll put one on that top or something on here just to act as a little break, so it hasn't got a gap. Maybe put that onto the turret itself. Okay, but that hides them a little bit away when they're coming. Now this will be our bridge area. We'll have the main frame, I think, just here between these two, hopefully, and then we'll have the bridge area just in the front for us to have a bit of a sit down on. We'll just set something up, so we'll elongate it a little bit, something like that, and then I'll bring that in possibly from there, something like that, so it's slightly angled. That should do the job. There, let's see how big this is already. 14, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So next, let's have a look at this engine. How much room have we got? We've got quite a bit of height now, so I can go for quite a powerful engine. So let's go for the treble design. There's my left and right connectors. We might as well see if we can get some decent power to have some good shields and other bits and pieces on this. since I do have enough size. As I said, the previous design, so this is my raised triple design engine. So I use those right and left connectors to give me some good connections. This way, now when I put the carburetors in, these ones in the center are shared with 4 cylinders, and the ones on the side share with 3. So that makes them very good for putting superchargers on. So these ones are good because they get maximum benefit of the superchargers. And what I do is I put superchargers on those ones, and then everything else I find is good just to put. Oops, I've forgotten some. I can put some here, and I can put some here. I haven't filled in all of the carburetor spaces yet. So let's just make sure I've got everything in place. So they're in place. They're in there. Yep. That's good. And then rest of it is engine fuel tanks. Let's just complete that, what I was doing before. It's one of these designs. I like the design. It's relatively efficient. It makes sense until there is an engine redesign being talked about. Don't know exactly what that's going to give. We'll wait and see, basically. Not going to plan, but this design is in my view, a genuine engine. So what power are we getting actually at the engine out of this now? 2,800. And I'm not on board, so that's a true 2,800. That's okay. I think I'm going to test something just to see. Oops, I've forgotten a couple of carburetors in here. 1, 2, 3 on the top. I hadn't made sure everywhere was done right. I'm just going to test, see if... Right, 3,085. Right, let's just try a couple of more superchargers. So if I take that one out and put a supercharger there and there, I think that's the common design. Let's just see if that's giving me a boost. No, see, that's gone down 2.6, so it didn't like those superchargers there. So let's put these back to oil, just there. No, 2.7, so it doesn't like them there. We'll put these ones back as well. It definitely likes more fuel tanks than it does superchargers. 3,085. Right, let's just try. Let's just try swapping this out. Although I think that might just take it down. Yep, 2.9. So that was my design. Was the most efficient design. I did think so. I'm sure it could be. There is some efficiencies could be improved in places. Everything can be improved if we look around enough, I'm sure, but it's good enough for the moment. That seems to be there's something not right here. That's not valid. I've put something in the wrong place. Yep, that's supposed to be down one. I suppose if someone say if you're using key method, that wouldn't be a problem. Yeah, bollocks. 3,002. Has that gone up? 3,002. Yeah, I think I was at 3,085. So okay, we've gained some speed. So we've got some good power now to be able to put some reasonable shields on this. Other thing we need to think about is some surge protectors. I haven't done a lot of these in the past, but they are starting to use EMP missiles in the faction designs now. So it's worth putting a few of these around in places where we might get hit by an EMP, just to basically reduce the damage we're going to be taking. So we'll put some in various strategic places. They can't put them everywhere because there's a lot of places can we get some down in this? Yes, we can. Put one in there, and we're more likely to be hit from below than we are above. This is all covered. Okay, so we've got a few in there, and we'll most probably put we'll put one in there on either side. That's cool. And this will be where the AI is, so we'll put some in here, I think, just ready to cover the AI when it comes in. Obviously you can put the AI onto wood, which is another good tactic. So what we could do is put a wood beam as an example, just where we don't put it, we just put it there, and then our AI, which we'll do now, our AI mainframe goes on the wooden beam, and that basically protects it from the EMP. So sometimes it's the simplest things that work. So we'll need an aerial AI card, and we'll take off the mirror line, and we will need a wireless transmitter to go on the top. Take out there, and we'll need a prioritization card, target prioritization, and we will also put a aim point. And what else shall we have? We'll put a patrol card on here as well, just in case we want to patrol with it, because this is becoming a larger vehicle, so we might want to have a bit more control of it at times. Now we've got some good space here, and I'm thinking we don't need more missiles. That's the first thing I'm thinking. I think we seem to be quite well stocked with missiles now, but we might put some anti-missile and flare systems coming out of here, possibly some missile interceptors firing up, and flares on the very rear. So we might just put an anti-missile system in here, just so that, why not? More the merrier as such. Oops, we'll put our mirror line back on, and I'll go back to this side. So basically this is going to be a bit of a missile behemoth, but hey, that's the way I roll. We like our missiles, does me. It's going to use up metal like it's going out of fashion with reloading all of this, but I don't care. Right, okay, let's see. Missile blocks. Okay, I don't want to go. Let's change that. I want a 3-block anti-missile interceptor. So what we'll do is put these instead. Whoops. Do you want to do that? I'll fill that in a second. One away. No. Mouse issues, as always. There we go. And the launch pad. Let's point upwards, please. Let's do it that way. There you go. Why not? We'll change the orientation of these just for a bit of a laugh. And then we have the missile block. La la la. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Nearly there. Whoops, wrong one place. Right, and then we will put the missile controller just in there with a control block, automated control block, which goes just there, which is simply said, if hostile missile is closer than, we're going to say 700, this will be a general affecting the area, range of 2, weapon system, fire. Not going to test it because that would be silly at this second. Right, and the same over here, hostile missile, less than 750, weapon system, 2, Fire. Whoops, didn't set the fire. Fire. Now, the actual anti-missile that I'm going to use on this will be, let's see, we need the interceptor on the front, and we're going to use a variable thruster, and then two fins and a fuel tank. Now this seems to be, we don't need that, and we're going to put 2 fuel tanks, and we're going to set this speed very high. Ramp up time 0.1 seconds. Yeah, we're 0.2. Give it a chance to turn. So we're going to test that. That's going to have those ones. So they're going to be very fast missiles on that side, and then we're going to do this side slightly differently. Similar, so most of it's going to be the same, but these are going to be highly maneuverable ones instead. Less fuel, put another fin in there, 1 less fuel, the interceptor head, but the speed, let's see, ramp up time is 0, so it goes straight away, and warhead delay is 0.1, we've made that 0.2, but the speed is only 1500 on this side, so it should be about the same, but it's designed to be more agile, whereas this is going to be a faster one. Let's see, guidance delay, warhead delay, don't want to delay it too much, 0.2 I think should be fine. We'll see how that all works. So that should be our anti-missile system ready to fire out. We'll put the flares maybe underneath once we've sorted this out ready to a degree. Okay, next part is engines. We got engines here. What I mean is jetus enginus, because we need to be going forwards. So we're going to need a fair bit. Now what we're going to do is stagger the first thing we're going to do is check where is our center line. Right, where's the center line? Center line. I can't see it at the moment. Let's get a different block so I'm not in the way. There we go. Let's see how high that is. It's about, oh, it's between 2 blocks. That's annoying, but there and there. Now I am actually going to put a bit of a keel on this, so I think that will be a perfectly good point at this moment to set up the missiles. The engines. About that much, and then we're gonna need so what I'm gonna do is stagger these. Thinking how many we might need. Okay, let's start with the one set. I think we're gonna need about 5 engines, I'm thinking here. So if I go like this, that should give us a good stagger. So, and then the way these engines go with staggering them is we use the fact that the center part only needs a 8 block gap, so you can put it like that, and then this one over the top like this, and you've got 5 engines, and the center point of them is clear, even if the surrounding. Now we can balance this up. What I'm gonna do is balance this up with smaller jet engines up and above to give us a balance once we start getting it to fly, because that will be the next stage. That's fairly simple, but what I'm going to first do is I'm going to give this a bit more of a keel, because there's one other little thing that makes the Albatross and the other rays important, and that is that they can all come out the water, fly from the water without any issues. I'm also doing this as a bit of armouring and a bit of weight. So there's some weight here to try and bring that centre of balance down a little bit. Let's see, we'll go this way a little bit. This is why I don't like the key system. But anyway, sometimes it just goes a little crazy for me. So what we'll do is I'll work on a little bit on there. Let's see where our centre line is now. Is that brought it down? See, that's brought it. You see, that's brought it down just about level with that point. So that's cool. And to help us get out of the water, if we do land in the water, which I'll sort out later, what we will do is put some hydrofoils in here. Now let's come off of there. That's the other bit why I go for maps, because now I can go around and I can point at things, etc., easier than in the other mode. I'm justifying it. Yes, I know I'm justifying it, but yeah, nah, it's my decision. To hell with it. Okay, so we put lots of hydrofoils in here to give us some frontal lift, and then what we do is we put a control block just here. Only need one control. Maybe we'll put 2 control blocks, and the control block simply says if range when altitude is less than let's say 10, then hydrofoils go up. And the other one is when the altitude is greater than 20, hydrofoils go back to there. So they should help to basically get it out of the water by lifting up the nose a bit when we're in the water. So okay, what I'm going to do now quickly, and then come back and have a look at our situation, is I'm going to shape the nose a little bit, get the nose into position. I will I have thought of one other missile system I am going to repeat, but we'll sort that out at the very end. I'm going to cover up this side with some alloy, and the same with this section. We'll put some alloy over the top as armour, and then go for a lightweight alloy. We've done the main armoured section, so now it's a bit, we need to go lightweight. So armour this with alloy, armour, and put over the top. Same over here, some alloy, etc., just to cover this up. Maybe put some on this section where I can, as long as it doesn't stop it turning. I'll have a look, see if I can put some alloy on this as well. And also straighten up the nose. Now the nose might be, because it's metal, because it will be taking damage. And then I'll have a look at wings. Now, obviously I can't put much on the rear here because it's full of ruddy missiles, but I can put plenty here in front of the missiles, and I could put some on this top section here. I'm thinking letting the missiles be below, so when they fire they'll drop down. If we were to put the wings below, I think the missiles would just start hitting them. So I think I prefer putting the I think, although if I put it on the lower level, we might do some testing, but I think I'll go for a high level wing at the rear and have it staggered down, and mainly be a wing in this area near the center point, because as always you've got to think of wing is based upon the center point of the ship, which is just about here. So the wing needs to be here and forward a bit. So I'm going to try and go for a slightly diamond shape, I think, wing. And then we'll put some tail on the rear, and then we'll see if it is close to flying or not. So, back in a bit. Hello and welcome back to the current Albatross state of build as such. Trying to think, I was going to say state of play, but state of build. I've just got the AI off at the moment, just so we can see what it's like. So it took a little bit to get it flying. It's very front heavy with this the engine in the front. If I go into build mode and press P, we should see the center of gravity is there. So, but I had to give quite a bit of wing in front of that center point. And I also, rather than put more wings on to get it to fly, I did actually put some thrusters which are pointing down. So there is some downward thrust at lower levels, like it is now. So these will actually give a thrust downwards whilst it's in the water, but once it goes up, they'll actually reduce. So it flies relatively well. Size-wise, it's actually quite good. It's actually smaller. If I come out of build mode and go here, press V, with actually 3,300 blocks, whereas the original was 4,000. So we've done well on that. A lot more metal and alloy. So yes, the metal content is much higher, whereas the original Albatross was just basically a lot of wood. This is a lot more alloy involved, which is fair enough. I mean, it is you know, it was intended to be an upgrade. Being smaller block-wise was quite effective. I think it's because of the smaller wing area. Basically, using the jets instead of the wings has allowed me to use more blocks for other items. I've had to work on a few of the missiles and other areas. We've got some... well, let's get it up into the air. It should take off automatically. There we go, from the water without any balloon or other assistance. These jets provide full thrust until it gets to about 250, and then they go down to about 50%. It holds a good 400 meters. It's just gone up to 500 there, but yeah, it's come down again. You know, high 400s seems to be a good height it has. Let's have a look, obviously, at how it does in battle. And we're ready to see a little combat test of it, some basic combat maneuvers. So if we start it off against the usual Marauder, which should be spawning out the back there. Yep, there we go. So we'll do a run and we can see it, the actual the weapons firing from this side. Now in the turn, it's keeping its height reasonably. Yeah, not too bad on the height there, 420, which isn't bad. It gets to a certain point, then it starts yawing, and because I've got all of the tail planes in the right place, it stays fairly flat and level in the turn. Level enough so it yaws in quite nicely and comes in. We can see that we've got shields on here. When a target gets within a certain range, 1900 meters, it turns the shields on. Go further than 2000 and it turns the shields back off again. So on here we've got the team laser doing the aim point targeting. So we should first of all get the missile silos are opened up. There we go, and they should fire about 800 meters. Some of them are laser, some of them are infrared. Then when it gets to about 600 meters away, which is almost on top, we start with the main bombardment, which is a combination of laser guided and infrared bombs with an APN. So they go off and still launching a few. I think that's it now, and that was enough in one pass to do it, which is quite good. So we just let this reload up. Generally happy with that. There's a few little bits with ranges of the missiles, but generally it does very well in the thing. I did in the bomb run, I did try changing the delay and even setting it to 0, but I quite like the delay as it is at the moment with it firing out rather than them going all in one go. I quite like the stagger fire, etc. Although I am thinking maybe split up so that it fires more than one at a time, but we'll leave that for the moment. It has a bit of a the ammo barrels are in various places, with the weapon system at the back and also a few here. It is susceptible to some damage, as you know, nothing's impossible to take out as such, so there is some issues in that regard, but generally it's quite capable. It would actually be part of a larger fleet with some designator ships. Now what we'll do now is I'm going to go down and see from the ship itself that we're attacking. We'll see what happens. So slightly different. He's far enough away. So if we bring in this time, let's bring in a Plunderer. So here we go. So we're coming in. What range are we at? Well, he's at 1500, 1600. So he's going to be coming in at us shortly. So you can see there it is turning around quite nicely. It's making its way in the turn, coming around to attack. The Plunderer isn't firing at the moment. His weapons isn't quite that long a range. Then after this we'll give it one against something which it's against, the Twin Guard. Something with some lasers, just to see how it does against a laser based target. Okay, so the Plunderer is now going to give some shots in, so hasn't got massive amounts of shooting going against it, but it has got level 10 shields, only single shields, but that should be enough to ward off most damage. There's his AA guns going for us. So what range are we at now? 1000. So he's the front missiles would have opened up, preparing to fire. They're coming in now. Let's just see them hitting the Plunderer at various points. Some went for the flares by the looks of it. And here we've got various bombs coming in, some going for the aimed point, and he's managed to take it out. We've taken a fair bit of damage there, obviously, but we've also drilled a hole straight through the centre of the Plunderer. So yeah, I think in general that's we've almost taken it out. We did looks of it suffer some damage there though, which is not necessarily a good thing. Let's go and find it. Where is it? Where are you gone to? Where are you gone to? Where are you gone to? Over here. Where are you firing? He's firing over here. I did notice it does go underwater quite happily, and then we'll repair and then come back up again, which is fine. It's going to be making its way. Oh, we've got some cannon shots are still coming through at the moment on it, so it's still taking some damage. Let's see if it may fly. Will it fly just? Oh, that was a big hit on the rear. It is there. Has it got any missiles to fire? It is firing its missiles, so it repaired itself and is coming back for a bit of revenge. Now it should fly off. I was looking at possibly, once it's taken a certain amount of damage, it should go into some sort of runaway mode. Okay, that's got destroyed. So took a bit of damage on the first strike, but you can see it's a lot of the wings take damage, which are cheap and easy to repair. But I think it did get through to the ammo barrel. So okay, but as I say, it's cheap it will repair itself, and if we had other vehicles, that single strike was enough to really damage that vehicle quite significantly. So not unhappy with it. So the Albatross, Super Albatross, has just about repaired itself. So this time we'll go against something in the Twin Guard. We'll go against Lightning. We'll see how it performs against this. So this would be, it's got some lasers as well as some guns and some missiles, I think, from memory. So we'll see. Interesting to see how it does against something like this vehicle. So it should be turning in now. Yep, we're coming in on the bomb run. Now it has fired its missiles out, but the it does have an anti-missile system. We'll see how effective that is. Because I did say before I wasn't happy with the way the missile system. It's got flares and interceptor missiles, and it's fired its main forward missile battery. That's coming in. Now he has got some LAM system, but there seems to be enough of those missiles to basically, basically swarm it and take that out in one pass. So that was the main aim. Actually, it was a good test. There is a system with a LAM system. It does fire enough small missiles out that it will take out the enemy in effectively one go. But it is susceptible to damage. It's not impervious. It just hopes to get its damage in before the enemy. But this particular Albatross, it's still a close. It's got to go over the enemy to do that large launch. It's just still a close range weapon, for want of a better word. So there is still limitations to it. But I'm happy with it. Now, before I bring it in, I'll give it a bit of a paint job. But otherwise, I think it's ready to go. And we'll put it up into the Steam. So check out for the link once it's uploaded. I'll put a link in the description below in case you want to have a muck around with it. But generally, let's just go up here and have a final look at it. But generally, that's not too bad. I quite like it. It's a bit battered now. But any comments, please leave them below. I think it's got more than enough missiles. But please click that like button, because it's always handy to know people are watching. Next, I think I will be just do a little bit of work on the flying rays, produce a new version of them to act as the support vehicle and spotter for this Albatross. So the intention would be that they will have lasers and just do also the air-to-air, take out any air targets will be their priority. So until next time, as I've said before, leave the comments, but keep on building, keep giving me some ideas, because that's always, I do like your ideas. But until next time, have fun.